in shock, in denial, in anger, bargaining, leading to depression, and you're testing your grief. And then there's acceptance. Those are the different stages of grief, or how we're meant to feel and how we're supposed to go through the process. So I wanted to talk about grief when you're flying today, just purely because I've been through it being a widow young, but also grief was mentioned on a call this morning, and it seems to be a theme with me at the moment, so I'm helping a lot of people with grief. So using the actual word grief as an acronym. Everyone knows that I love a good acronym, so let's use grief as an acronym for coping skills. So G, gather up your feelings and your emotions that are personal to you. We're all different, remember, so it's what's going on in your head, what's going on for you. So G, the first G is grief, is gather up all those feelings, allow them, let yourself feel those feelings, don't suppress them, don't depress them, don't push them down. You need to feel them, because when there was grief there, when there's grief there had to be love in the first place. Remember that. Expands from love, expands grief. So you've got to feel those feelings. So gather up those feelings. There's your G. The next one will be reactions. Notice your physical reactions. Notice how you change. For example, for me, I lost loads of weight. There's my physical reaction, but of course it was grief that I was dealing with. What's your physical reaction? Some people lose their hair, some people can't sleep, some people fear flying, some people suffer with anxiety, and the stress, the underlying stress that grief can give you, can actually manifest as different things as well. Because remember, fear of flying is just a symptom, and we all go through grief as we go through life, but it's how we carry it. So G is for gather up, R is for reactions physically. Why is this happening to you? What is this physical reaction? Why is it there? The next one is I. So we're going through the acronym of grief. For grief is interact with a friend. Find one friend that you will actually say up front, can I just offload to you? Can I just speak to you? I don't want you to answer any of my questions, because you don't stand in my shoes. You haven't walked in my widow's shoes. So I don't want you to give any information, any help or anything like that. I just want you to listen. We all have that one friend that we can offload to. So interact with that one friend that's going to be your go-to person that you can literally go to and just talk it through. So again, you don't suppress those emotions. You don't suppress those feelings that can cause obviously the depression that sometimes, not always, comes with grief. So the next one would be E. So we're going through the acronym of grief. G is for gather up, R is for reactions, see your reactions, I is for interact with somebody, one good friend, E is for evaluate. I want you to write down those feelings, how people reacted around you when your grief was raw right at the beginning, and how you reacted. I think it's really beneficial if you do a 6 months journal, a diary, whatever you want to call it, just write it down. Feelings diary, it doesn't matter, and do it for your children as well, because how you react in the beginning is very, very different 13 years on. So I want you to put down your feelings down in writing. So write down, evaluate those feelings, how people reacted to you, because how they were reacting, they were going through grief too, and that will change over 6 months, because after 6 months then that's when it becomes complicated grief. So then the F in grief, so G is for gather up, R is for reactions, your physical reactions, I is for interact with a friend, E is for evaluate, and then the F, watch this word, forward. You move forward, you don't move on. There's a very big difference in that language. Especially for me, I wanted to move forward. I had two bereaved children, so moving forward is very different from moving on. And it's the perception of the people around you, how they feel. If you've just moved on, just move on. That's what you get told a lot of the time. So focus on your freedom to move forward. Focus on your freedom to fly. Focus on moving forward, not on. There is a difference. So if we go back to the stages of grief, shock, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, testing, acceptance. All of those, when you go to fly, to go on holiday for the first time, especially after a sudden loss, you feel guilty. Where's guilt in those stages of grief? Where's the shame? The shame that you're still wearing a wedding ring of somebody who's no longer here, and then you feel like you've got to tell the people that you meet on this fantastic holiday that you're entitled to enjoy too. You feel shame and guilt because you're going to have to tell them your story. But telling them your story is offloading as well. And if they choose, their reaction is on them. But you're moving forward by reacting and connecting with people. Don't isolate yourself. Don't become lonely, because our emotions, they're just moments in time. They're just temporary. It's just a moment. It will pass. It's not your final destination. A bit like when you fear of flying. When you board that aircraft and you're feeling stressed to the hilt because the kids are playing you up and your anxiety's through the roof and you've been having IBS and no sleep for the last 3 days, and then the same will happen again on the return flight home. That again is a temporary emotion. The final destination is that you're going to go on holiday and make marvellous memories, wonderful memories with your friends and your family, whoever you're going away with. You're exploring the world, and look at it at the moment. It's fantastic weather here in the UK. So enjoy the world, explore it, because you're still here. They would want you to live, to move forward, to explore, to enjoy. So remember, when you do have those emotions, those little moments in a day that stop you literally dead, those emotions are just temporary. They're not your final destination, because I'm still here and I can move forward with my beloved children and my gorgeous second husband Stuart, because I matter too. So do you.